So, for everybody that is here, welcome to the first episode of Content Clubhouse. Now, we had a podcast in the past, and the podcast was really, really interesting in the sense that it was the same kind of concept, but it was kind of centered around me being the host, and I didn't want that to be the case anymore. The main thing is that this is now meant to be a showcase for the person who's here. It's not meant to be the FlexCast. It's meant to be the area where anyone who's a content creator, whether you're just someone who does TikTok, someone who does YouTube, someone who does Twitch, someone who does anything, Trovo, Mixer, if it was still alive. It's for everybody. So that's exactly what this is. And today we're joined with our guest, Pixelated Owl. Pixelated Owl is known for many things: anime, lots of Nintendo type games and style, and just being a phenomenal person in everyone's community, but majority his, and his community is strong. I've seen it. He's raided me, and I gotta tell you, I strive to have raids that are just as impactful as that every single time I do so. I think it's awesome. So, Pix, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Long day at work, but I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be chilling with you and to be, on this podcast. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me be your first guest. I'm honored.
Yeah, I mean, we've been definitely linking a bit more recently, and I think that getting the podcast back was important to me, but I also like it because I get a chance to really find out some stuff about people that, I think is really useful for everyone who streams. I mean, there's a lot of little tips about everything from time management to, little tricks and tips that you might know, or just even how you deal with it on a day-to-day basis that really does help, and I think you should be well rested enough for the hour ahead. All jokes aside.
Definitely.
All jokes aside, so I'm glad to have you. So with this being said, I'd say we should just jump right into the first question and start moving from there. Yeah. Again, all these questions are really easy, and the way the podcast functions is very straightforward. We do 5 main questions. The 5 main questions are the ones that have some elaboration, but they're basically to get a good grasp of who the person is, their content creation styles and efforts. And then after the 5 questions, it's kind of more tailored questions, things that I personally want to talk about and ask about with the person that are different than just the generalization. And then the finale is just an open grab bag. We could just talk about whatever we want to talk about. And I did just watch that new Demon Slayer episode, so I got some stuff to definitely talk about. So I can't wait to get to all that. It's going to be good. Now, I don't address chat during the podcast, but Bros Before Codes did ask a question. May chat ask questions? Absolutely. Please do. As many times as you guys want to ask questions, I will be kind of trying to keep a tab on those, tallying them up, and at the end when it becomes to the grab bag, any and all questions are totally good. So if you want to save some up, or maybe during it you have a further elaboration about something, please do. That's what this podcast is entirely for. It's live for a reason, but it will be on YouTube and everything after that. So let's just jump into the first question. The first one's an easy one and a fun one that I think opens up the door for just a lot of calmness moving into this. What got you into gaming?
I don't, honestly. I could not even tell you, and I only remember this because this is the first console I've ever had. But I don't know if anyone ever remembers the V Smile. But it was a console designed for kids way back in like 2006 or 7, and that was my first ever console that I had. And
V Smile.
Yeah, it's called a V Smile. Dude, oh my god. It was the first console I had, and I only really remember playing this one specific Marvel game on it. And then that's kind of what rolled the ball for me. After that, I had a PS2. Because when you're a kid, you kind of get the hand-me-downs from your older siblings.
Oh yeah, of course, I know
when my
that.
brother, so when my brother got his PS3, I got his PS2, and
okay,
I kind of just trickled off of whatever he had. But when the Xbox 360 came out, that's when I kind of diverted from that, and it kind of just went from there. Gaming has had such a huge impact on my life because it just allowed me to kind of escape and be,
yes, absolutely,
and just what I mean, just live stories that I would never think of or get to live otherwise.
I absolutely understand exactly what you're saying. And I know because I come from a family of 11. So when it came to any time they had a system or something like that, I actually had to fight myself quite a bit because my dad and my brothers were big sports game people. So they played a lot of like NBA and Madden. And I hated that because I just wanted to play like, what was that one MMO on like the old, oh my God. There was a couple of them, but there was so many just RPG type games that I wanted to do, and they wanted absolutely fuck all, nothing to do with it. They just wanted to play Madden against each other, and so gaming was a hard thing for me to break into. And you know, you'd mentioned your first consoles, and I think that's important to draw into like the next sub question in this regard, which was, you know, what were some of the oldies that were like that stood out to you, or the ones that like maybe the first game that you were like, oh man, like I'm hooked into gaming.
Definitely the Budokai series for Dragon Ball.
Okay.
I have so many memories playing those. Left 4 Dead was
oh, man.
I think Left 4 Dead was the first Xbox game that I played. I think it was the reason I wanted an Xbox. And I had so many memories on that game. Modern Warfare 3.
For sure. I love all these. These are great answers.
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts too, because I remember my brother had Kingdom Hearts and I remember playing it, but back then when I was a kid I wasn't competent enough to know how to finish games. I just played them for fun. So
I know what you're talking about, actually.
So I played Kingdom Hearts and then I was actually glad they remastered them because it gave me the chance to go back to finish them. But yeah, those games too. Yeah, those are like the kind of like the big series. Like, you know, I feel like most gamers have played Call of Duty.
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
Then yeah.
I also agree with you in the sense that with some of those old games, you rarely ever beat them because that was before really anyone had like Reddit or just something to go to find an answer to a question. I think back then it was a little different. You were like, you get stuck and you were stuck. That was it. Like if you didn't have a big brother to beat it or something to figure it out, you were not getting any further. So I absolutely agree with you in that sense. And I think that those old games really do have a telling tale to kind of like showcase like why those games lead to the things you play now. And we're going to talk a bit about that, you know, further on. But, you know, I think the final part of question 1 that I think is important to know as well is what draws you specifically towards a game, right? Like when a game comes out, because there's now in the gaming sphere, there's millions. There's so many games in all different sense. What do you think, like when a game comes out is the thing that you're like, oh, like I actually, you know, this is my style, like this is my type?
For games that come out now, well, it's so weird, crazy that you asked that, because like my shift in taste is so drastically different from when I was growing up. So like now I primarily look for JRPGs and like I'm still interested in everything, but I try to prioritize JRPGs because that's what I'm into now.
Persona and things like that.
Yeah, exactly Absolutely. Persona. So like kind of, so I always look for, because you know the main problem that gamers have when like new games come out is like, are you getting the content worth, you know, like equivalent to the money you're spending for the game? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like am I gonna play this enough for it to be worth it?
Exactly, because you know, like not everyone has like $60 that they could just drop on a game. So like that's why, and I think that's another reason I was kind of switched to JRPGs, because I feel like 9 times out of 10, if you buy a full price JRPG, because you know JRPGs are like often 50 hours plus, like minimum. So like,
and usually
I feel like you're always gonna
play them too.
Exactly.
Like you can play them over and over. Yeah.
So I feel like you're always gonna get your you're always gonna get your money worth with them. While like on the other side with COD, you can obviously see how Vanguard did.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
So
COD fans are a little sweating right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
I was like, thank God I didn't buy that this year.
I agree, man. I mean, I think especially as content creators, it's more difficult because sometimes a game is kind of a business expense. You know, you think about like, is this going to be able to fit into my stream, or is this me just kind of tickling my own fancy in this regard?
Exactly.
You know, like Pokemon Arceus, I'm still refraining from buying, even though I've played every single Pokemon that's ever come out. I love Pokemon. I play Pokemon Go every single day. And this game would be arguably everything I want, but you're absolutely right. Is the $60 going to justify? Like, am I going to play it enough that I'm going to feel good about having spent the $60 on this? Like,
and you see, I think I have the inverse problem because I'm not usually I'm not like a big Pokemon fan. Like the only Pokemon game I really went out of my way to buy was, I think, Shield, right?
yeah.
But now I'm looking into getting Arceus because, like you said, like it kind of fits into my content, so I can make content out of it because it's, you know, it's a game that it's a JRPG and it's a game that I can see myself playing because I stream those games. You know what I mean? So I kind of have like the inverse problem that you have, because normally I wouldn't even look at it, but now it's like, you know, ooh, let me see what this game is about.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Well, I think game creators are just doing a phenomenal job at making things nowadays that are really just pushing the limits, you know, and JRPG being, you know, a category where that's only going to benefit even more from. You know, you get a game with so many multiple storylines, but now the graphics are great. Now it's able to be ported to multiple systems, maybe even online and crossplay and things like that. I think it's only going to get better. Bros Before Codes did mention, I did see it in chat. I try not to read chat, but he said the V-Smile is a one-hand controller and a massive joystick.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, it was a gigantic button with like 4 colored buttons, and yeah, the joystick was huge. Like,
I've never seen it. I'm gonna be searching that up right after the podcast is done here. I'm very curious to find out what the hell that is. That's so cool. So moving forward, you know, I'm glad that to know kind of your foundation to gaming, and question number 2 is kind of the continuation of that on that content creator timeline of, okay, we know why you like the gaming and whatnot. So then what got you into streaming? You know, what was the thing that made you decide that day to hit go live for the first time?
I guess for one, it's one of those things where, you know, I feel like every gamer that's like that games as often as I do has that like mentality of, oh, like this is what I want to do for a living, you know what I mean? Like I just want to play games for a living. So that's one of the reasons why I was like, you know what, let me see if I can make this into something. Let me see if I can actually do it. And then another reason I feel like was more subliminal than others is because I have slight social anxiety, so like meeting new people's very hard for me. It's just it's not the fact that I don't want to talk to you, but I don't want to be the one to initiate that conversation. I feel like I can't be the initiator in that. So streaming is kind of a thing that I use to help me kind of break down that wall, because I have to talk to people I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I have to be the initiator in a sense. You know?
Yeah. And I think that speaks volumes as well too. I think a lot of people, you know, who are going to watch this might have that same kind of social anxiety themselves, and you know, to be able to see you do that, you know, I think it is comforting to know that, you know, people who maybe have a harder time on just the traditional society front could still do this. I mean, they can absolutely still chase their dreams and power through in a way that works for them.
Definitely.
You know, kind of paving their own path like you are, and that's awesome. So, with your streaming, when you were first streaming, this is a funny question that I love to hear about. How, you know, I almost refrained from saying good, but how were your first streams? What did those look like? What were you playing, and graphically? I mean,
I was, well, for starters, I was streaming directly from my Xbox.
Ooh, okay.
I didn't have a PC. I think this is back in. I can't exactly remember when I started streaming, but I always say this. I always have this date because this is the first game I think this is the game where I committed to streaming, and it was the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Okay.
The day that came out is like the exact release date is the day that I always tell people that I started streaming, because it's the furthest back I can remember.
And what day was that?
I think it was February 29th. I believe that's the release date for that game.
Ooh, leap year. Okay.
I think so.
What year?
2019, I believe. Let me double check the release date on that, because I actually have to keep looking at.
Yeah, that's relatively recent too. 2019. It's about 3 years. Less than.
Oh no, I completely lied to you. January 24th. I knew it was a 20. Yeah, January 24th, 2019. That's when I tell people I started.
All right, yeah. Resident Evil's badass too. It's a good game to start on.
Yeah, and it's so weird too because I'm not a fan of, like, I hate horror games. I'm not a fan of horror games.
I don't know if it's horror though, is it?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the game where they chose to go back to the survival horror aspect, or like besides, RE7 and RE8. That's yeah.
With Resident Evil, Resident Evil 5 is one of the only games that I 100%ed ever on console.
That was my favorite one.
It was amazing. The fight at the end with the guy with the giant swinging arm. Dude, there was so many phenomenal. And you can hit those gems and keep replaying that game a million times until you get the Gatling gun and the bow at the end. I loved it, man. That game is so fun.
Yeah. That game is a staple in my childhood for sure.
And so, because a lot of people, again, who are watching this might be someone who's looking to start content creation or might be doing it. How did you go from your first initial streams to like the graphics and everything you have now? I know the logo actually was something I did as a passion project, because I thought it was such a cool idea. Pixelated Owl just sounded so cool that I just wanted to do it at the time. But everything else, like, how did that all transition? Was it something where you had started off with pretty good stuff, or do you think that just over time you decided to kind of tack things on?
I think, okay, well, yeah, definitely. As soon as I started streaming, I think that's when I decided, okay, now I need a PC, because I know that there's so many more things I can do if I have a PC. I can stream so many games, and like there's often this problem too. I know, I'm not sure if you know, but with console streaming, at least for PS4, if you stream directly from your PS4, if you ever want to switch games, you have to end your stream and then restart it.
I did not. What the fuck?
Yeah, you have to restart your stream when you switch games on PS4. I hated it. I hated it.
Sucks, because you lose people immediately. Yeah.
Exactly. I hated that. And back then, being as much of a variety streamer as I was constantly starting my stream. And then if I had if people had me, as their notifications in their Discord, they would just constantly be getting pinged that I'm going live when I'm just switching games.
Oh no, yeah.
But at least on Xbox they didn't have that problem, which was my main system at the time, so it was fine. But yeah, I just kind of sought after a PC after that, and as soon as I got my PC, that's when I looked into what kind of overlays I wanted. And I always thought of this. I've always liked the color scheme that I had, the purple with the light blue.
Yeah, it's sick.
So I kind of themed my overlays around that, and then fast forward to about a month ago is when I kind of made the transition to primarily focus on JRPGs and just like anime themed content. So I wanted to change my overlay. I wanted to make my own overlays and kind of turn them into that, and that's the overlays that I have now, and I could not be more proud, honestly, that I made those.
That's such a cool thing too to hear, because I think that there's great websites like Nerd or Die. There's all different types of websites that give you overlays, and Stream Elements even has a lot of them built into it, which is what I use. I use Stream Elements, but there's something about making something yourself and then the knowledge to make it, and then the creativity of making it, and then when you finally go live and it's all there and you're like, damn, like I really did this, and take it from an idea on paper to it's here, it's right in front of me.
Exactly.
It's such a good feeling. What did you use to make it all?
I used Canva. A friend of mine,
huge.
A friend of mine put me on the Canva because she used it for all her like promos and overlays, and I use it for everything. I use it for my schedules that I post on Twitter, my overlays, my thumbnails for YouTube videos, my emotes. Like, I use it for everything now.
Canva's fucking awesome. Yeah. I've always used there's a website called PEA. So
that's what I used before Canva. Yeah.
Photopea is free Photoshop for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, everyone who's watching needs to know, like, if you guys are looking for graphics, yes, you can get them yourself from websites and whatnot, but there are so many free tools out there to just make great stuff the exact way that you want it, where you're not worried about, anyone else basically having to have a certain little, even anything where you don't want it. It's all you. This scene, the whole Content Clubhouse scene on the stream was about 15 minutes of work this morning.
No way.
It was about a 15-minute project that I did this morning because I knew what I want. Because all right, little disclosure, a little sideline from the podcast. Okay. I had no name this morning for the podcast. I didn't have the name. I didn't have the design. I didn't have anything. And so I woke up after a long night. I went to a rave last night, and I was like, oh shit, like I'm running late. Like I'm looking at my watch, like fuck, I gotta get going. And I was like, I gotta make this podcast. I can't do the FlexCast. And I was like, okay, how about something with streaming? And I was like, no, because some people aren't gonna stream. It might be a YouTuber who's gonna be on here, or whatever else. I was like, all right, content. And then I was like, all right, content crew, content clubhouse, and then I searched it to see if like the name was taken, and it wasn't. And I was like, all right, we're gonna run with it. Clubhouses are wood. They're like wooden, and I just literally I just pasted it all together and designed this literally all from scratch. From concept to everything was 30 minutes. And the thing is, that just goes to show that when you know the tools and everything else, and you practice doing stuff yourself, you could easily take an idea just like this content clubhouse from 0 to 100 in 30 minutes, just like that. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I went on that time for I don't even know why reason. It was just funny to talk about.
No, you're fine.
But one last part about that second question here about what got you into streaming. An important thing that people should know is that every streamer has the people who they draw inspiration from, who they look to, and like people who are game changing in their opinion. And I'd love to hear who you look at as just a beacon of inspiration, or someone who you draw ideas from, or people who you aspire to be like in the field.
Well, I don't want to be that guy, but I feel like I draw inspiration from everyone, obviously you included. Like I feel like I look at you and I look at all the hard work you put into, making this, something that you want to do, and I admire that. Like
I appreciate honestly. That. Thank you.
No, of course. Like you're definitely one of them. My friend. Chaotic Bunny. I'm not sure.
I was just thinking of her. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I met her, I think earlier last year, and I've been supporting her and hanging with her before she hit partner, and I watched her growth, and it was insane to be a part of and see that happen.
A shooting star, really.
Definitely. But literally, if you see me in anyone's stream, like I look up to them, like, cause I think of everyone on Twitch as like my older brothers and sisters that like I never had,
That's a great way to put it.
So I always try to, I don't want to say take, cause like that sounds really wrong, but like I always try to see what other people are doing and see how can I turn this into, how can I shift this into something that fits my content, you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I thought of all of like my anime theme stuff, like the Jeopardy that we're doing on Wednesday.
I can't wait for that. I'm so excited.
I can't wait for that too. Yeah, I just got confirmation on our 6th person. So we should have a full 6, so we could. I was telling him earlier we can either do 3v3s or 2v2v2. So we could probably just talk about it on the day of. But yeah, just like all my anime theme stuff, I've kind of just looked at what other people were doing and seeing, okay, because I just saw a friend of mine from Mixer. He was doing like a Dragon Ball, or no, was it Dragon Ball? Yeah, I think it was a Dragon Ball like bracket fights. I'd never heard of bracket fights before, and I was like, wait, this site exists? And I went to look afterwards. I'm like, oh, they have a whole bunch of anime stuff on here. I'm like, okay, let me invite another content creator and let's do bracket fight. Let's talk about what's the best shonen protagonist, what's the best isekai anime, like what's the best awesome, anime of 2020, like. So I did that with a couple content creators. So yeah, I pull inspiration from, like, if I follow you, you are someone that I admire.
I like content creation. Yeah, I like to think the same in that exact same regard. The big brothers and sisters, I think that's a great way to put it, because one thing that I think, especially you mentioned Chaotic Bunny, one thing you could see from her spree, and I think this is important for all people who are going to pursue content, is she grew because she went from just streaming and doing things to putting her personality first and the streams and everything else second. So it was very much, here's me, because people respond better to who you are as like an actual person and wanting to know more about you and getting to know more about you and understanding your personality, because you're going to attract those people. I feel like if you're trying too rampantly to grab from so many sources, not like what you were talking about, but rather like grab inspiration from different sources and try to like do exactly what they do, then you're going to end up finding that you're not going to have as much success because you don't care about it as much as that person does. Yeah. You know, what you're doing is kind of what Ludwig had mentioned in some of his videos, which he jokes and calls the yoink and twist, which is here's an idea I like, yoink, twist it into my content, boom, now it's mine, right? It's just like that, and I think it's awesome. I think people should be doing that more often. Take great ideas, make them yours and fit your community, and then go from there, right? I think that's
exactly.
I think that's it. You know,
it's completely different if you just take their idea and try and replicate it. Because I see this works for him, and let me just do that too. You know, it's different. Like, you have to make it your own, because if it's not your own, then, you know, like do you even care about it? You know,
it's understanding your brand. Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. So perfect. So I want to start segueing into question number 3 here, because this part I think is something a lot of people, everyone has different answers to this. And there's a few parts, you know, every question kind of has like an A, B, and C underneath it of elaboration. But question number 3, I think, is important because a lot of people struggle with this, especially people who are younger, some people who are older. I'm not sure how old you are. I'm 25 myself. But the question is, how does streaming fit into your daily life? You had mentioned that you worked earlier today. So, you know, how difficult is it to just go, you know, through everything and then also still be a content creator, do you think?
Okay. First of all, for the record, I'm 20.
Okay. Wow. I caught me shocked. I would have gone for same age as me, 25, guaranteed. Just by looking at it. So that's.
Well, especially now too, because this job is new. I'm on day 4 of this job.
Oh wow. Do you mind if I ask what it is?
Yeah. I work in Delhi at a Publix. I don't know if you know what Publix is.
Yeah, it's just like everyone has different like grocery stores where they are. Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, I work in the deli in there. But I manage. So how does streaming work how do I fit streaming into my daily life? Well, let's talk about before I had a job. Before I had a job, it was kind of about getting the schedule down. Because I wasn't really going to school, and so I pretty much was home all day, every day. So I was like, okay, how do I, like, what schedule fits for me? I've tried multiple different schedules. I had tried every weekday from 12 to 5, and it worked for a minute. I could do it for a minute, but then I realized, okay, I need like a break. I feel like streaming 5 days a week, back to back to back like that consistently, for those amount of hours, it was too tiring on me. So I was like, okay. So then I switched to my new schedule, which I have now, which is Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 2. And I don't have an ending time really, because I kind of just, my minimum is from 2 to 5. But if I go past that, you know, I go past it. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, before getting this job, it was kind of just me trying to figure out, how do I fit this into what works for me, what allows me the most amount of time to not only stream but work on other content like my YouTube, my TikTok, Hover, and everything else. And then after I got a job, I somehow managed to get it to work around my streaming hours. So I work every day, I don't stream. So I kind of, I don't want to say got it easy, but it fits nicely.
Yeah,
the point where
it's fallen into place.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of have like the best of both worlds, you know?
Absolutely. No, that's important. And all of that time management. I think every streamer's kryptonite is getting an actual schedule for the week. I think it's the most frightening thing, because you never know how things are going to go. You never know if you're going to even want to be in the mood to play something like that. Maybe, a certain event happens in a game you didn't know about, and now you want to switch things around. So there's a lot with scheduling that does make it difficult. But you had mentioned as far as how it goes into your life, you work, you do, pretty much right now you have it worked out nicely. So that's awesome for you. But how does that fit into like relationships, like friends and family? Do you think that there are times in which you feel like pulled towards doing something else than stream, and then you have to play this game of like, okay, do I actually want to stream today, or do I want to be social today, or things with family as well too? Like, is that something where you feel like you have conflicts, or you kind of got down?
At first there was conflicts with my family, because obviously, with parents being as old as they are, they don't really understand streaming. They don't understand, the world of like content creation. So they don't view it as like a stable career. But as soon as you obviously start bringing the money in, that's when they're like, oh, okay, cool. So like my family now, they know my streaming hours, so they know when I stream. They know not to bother me during the streams. And with friends, it's kind of like they know when I stream too. Sometimes they'll come through, and as soon as I'm done streaming, I hop into a Discord with them, and I kind of just chill with them for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So I personally don't see any conflicts with either friends or family. Sometimes there is, like, for example, I'll have League scheduled for like a Friday. I'll hop on League with some other like content creator friends or whatever, and then my friends would get on and they'd invite me, and I'm like, oh well, I can't really play with you because I'm playing with these people now. So it's like there are moments like that where that happens, but they're very far and few between.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That is a hard thing to balance too. That happens to me more often than I wish I could say. It is so awkward, because collaborating with other content creators is something that people should do more often, and something that I think I'm aspiring to do as well. And it makes for some of the best content too.
Yeah.
But I think what ends up being really difficult about that is you don't always want to necessarily play with your friends, because it's not going to create as good and cohesive of a show. You're going to end up taking your brand and content and putting it aside just to like kind of be the guy that you are when you're with your friends. Yeah. And I feel like you can't do that. I feel like sometimes it's like, your stream is a show. It's your show. It's your broadcast. It's you putting on this, event or whatever. And I've made the mistake of sometimes playing with friends and just getting so comfortable that it's not even a stream anymore, but a hangout live on,
Yeah.
And so I think that is, kind of an important distinction to remember as far as, when scheduling does happen. But I also think it's important to say, because I feel like I'm very similar to you in the sense that most of my friends and social interactions are kind of online now.
Yeah.
I think that I struggle with it a little bit less, because most of the time when I'm hanging out with people, it's doing this. It's gaming and, sneaking in a few games of TFT at night over some drinks or so, you know what I mean? Just stuff like that. It just feels better.
I was gonna say, speaking of TFT too, I recently signed up for the PBE, and I've been playing the new set.
Oh, don't tell me. I'm trying not to hear about it.
It's looking pretty nice. It's looking pretty nice. I don't know.
I wanted to get on the PBE and do some TFT, but I was worried that when I did, they were gonna patch certain things when they do the full release, and that the meta comps and whatnot are probably not gonna be as good, or maybe like they nerf or buff certain things. Yeah. I'm very excited. I love TFT. That's one of those games that I love it so much that I refuse to stream it. because it's one of those things that's me time. That's me time to do me and not just
it's like one of those games. It's like you can both brainlessly and not brainlessly play that game. It's like it's just a chill game where you don't really have to try too hard, but you also have to think about what you're doing if you want to win.
Absolutely. I could third place drunk any day. I could third place drunk any day.
Sometimes you don't even have to use that many brain cells to play that game and win. It's fun.
Absolutely. So final part of question 3 here is something that I was always curious about, because it was something that I struggled with for a while. And I just kind of want to know, with you streaming, is it something that you actually like talk to people about in real life very often, or is it something that you're kind of like, I'm gonna keep these worlds separate? Because every time I try to talk to people about streaming, I just have to say I do podcasts, because nobody, like, they don't get it. Older people don't understand it. They're just so out of the loop that it's just impossible to try to explain to them, like, yeah, you know, I play video games and your kid probably watches me.
Yeah. I can't say the amount of you get paid for that responses that I got.
Yes.
Because I'm an honest person. If you ask me a question, my brain's just gonna default to the truth. Like, I'm gonna tell you. So whenever like my uncles or my aunts ask me, like, you know, what do I do, and I tell them, oh, I'm a streamer. They're like, what? And then, like, I play video games, like for like people, you know, watching play video games. And then they gave me that exact response. Yeah, they gave me that exact response. Like, you get paid for that? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, and then they ask me why, and then I have to try to explain. Like, I have to try to explain and it's such a hassle to explain everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, for the most part, everyone that has asked me what I did, I told them that I streamed, and they either get it or they don't. It's really up to them and like what they believe, but.
In your mind, when you say, like, when somebody asks you, like, what do you do for a living? Does stream come before, like, bill-paying job? Like,
yes.
Do you lead with stream?
Yeah.
I do the same. Yeah. I mean, stream.
Because that's like my ideal, you know, like that's the thing I want to do the most. Like, I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, I have like a 9 to 5, you know, I work here. No, I'm gonna tell them, you know, like, because it's the thing I enjoy doing. So I want people to know what I enjoy doing.
Absolutely. No, I think that's super important. I used to be so afraid of talking about it, and then there was just this one day that it just like shifted in my head, because I like when Vine and things like that were around, there became this thing where if you were in like online media, you were kind of a weirdo. Like, people kind of looked at it like, oh, you're just some like Vine kid doing like dances and whatnot or whatever for views. And when I told them about streaming, it kind of fell in that same category. So for a while I was kind of embarrassed, but now I'm like, I'll be at parties showing people clips like funny moments, and I just try to make it much more open, because I think it should be. I think not enough people give it the respect that it deserves as a, you know, as a profession, or as something that you can get good at. Because just because you stream does not mean that you are a good streamer. It takes a while. And I feel like there are days even where I have a stream afterwards and I'm like, you know, I could have done this better, or I could have done this better, and I just like, I'm slapping myself kind of on the back about it. And it really is like a muscle. It can grow. You grow better at it, you get sharper, and you can hone in your skills.
For sure.
So that kind of segues into number 4 here. What do you think a perfect content day would look like for you? Like a perfect day, like day in the life from start to finish. You wake up and all the way till you go to sleep. Like, where are you posting? What are you posting? Like, if the stars aligned in this beautiful way, you know, you did your special finishing move in our JRPG. Like, what is your, you know, just perfect day, you think?
A perfect day for me would probably, okay, let's say it's a streaming day. Okay, my perfect day for me would probably be, I actually upload on YouTube. You know, I post about it. I post my going live. let's say I'm playing Smash that day. You know, I started stream. You know, people are slowly but surely trickling in, and then, because usually when I play Smash, I host open lobbies. You know, anyone could join. It doesn't matter skill level, and then, you know, people will just either they join and they vibe. You know, we're playing, or people are in chat and they're just vibing. We're talking about, because Smash is one of those games where I don't really like. I'm not really so focused on the game. Like, it's more of like a conversation, like a conversation game. You know, like a just chatting game where we can just ramble about random topics and just
absolutely,
you know, like while the game is going on. So just having people in chat talking. We're just vibing, talking about like a lot of different things. You know, what's trending on Twitter. You know, like anime. You know, like video games, like anything, and then people are in the game having fun. like that's probably the ideal for me. I'm like the bits and all that and the subs or whatever, that's kind of like an afterthought for me. My main priority when I stream is just people having a good time, and then all of that is just secondhand.
That's an important mindset, is just to make sure that the stream is kind of what comes first, that the energy is kind of what comes first, because the truth of the matter is people don't have to watch anybody.
Exactly.
They don't have to click your link. They don't have to subscribe. They don't have to give bits, but they do because you're putting the work in.
Yeah.
You're earning it in that sense. And I think that's important. That's an important distinction to keep in mind. And on that perfect content day for you, let's talk about the not so perfect content days. What do you think are the biggest things that might hold you back from doing your best? I'll answer first because I think this is kind of a vulnerable question.
Yeah.
So I'm in a relationship. I've been with Liv for 10 years, right? We have a dog. We have our jobs. We have family. And it can be so difficult sometimes to try to rationalize these certain things when life events happen, right? Like, for example, earlier today, dishes are in the sink from the night before. The kitchen's a mess and the living room's a mess. We still got to do laundry. Dog has to go outside, also be fed, everything else. And in this time frame as well, I also have to design the podcast and create it from the ground up. Make sure the scheduling is all good for the rest of the week. Try to get a clip out on one of the TikTok, Hover, YouTube Shorts, everything. And I feel like I sometimes allow the burdensomeness of everything to stop me from doing that. Like, well, I should post on TikTok, but I got to do these dishes. So I'm going to go do these dishes or whatever. When I feel like if I had just managed my time better, I could probably do both. But I get so stressed out and then I don't do that stuff. And I feel like it just holds me back.
For sure. I guess for me, because I tend to overthink a lot of things. So for me, it would just be, because before I used to have this issue of, because I was a variety streamer, I was more of a variety streamer. It wasn't just coned in on JRPGs. It was like everything. So I would sit, like my biggest problem before was I would start my stream and I would be staring at my game library, not knowing what to play, because I have a huge library of games that I want to play, but I could never hone in on one. So I would be sitting there for 10, 20 minutes just trying to decide what to play. Like those days were the worst for me. But then again, those days I never scheduled what I played those days. Now I schedule, what game I play those, like, each day. So it's easier for me to know, okay, this day I'm playing this game, cool. There's no like dead air. I could just get on, do my socials, play the game,
Yeah.
So those days were definitely the worst for me.
Man, I've fucking been there. I know exactly what you're talking about. I kind of, mine is a little bit flip-flop because I feel like I didn't want to play anything. Like I would like open up a game and be sitting in the main thing and be like, yeah, fuck this. And I'd close it and I'd open up a different game and I'd be sitting there and I'm like, I don't want to do this either. Like, I don't want to play Fortnite. I don't want to play Apex. I don't want to, like, there's some days where it is like, I just want to play TFT. I just want to play TFT and just do that. But I don't want to do it on stream because nobody gives a shit about TFT on stream. But like, now I gotta sit here and try to shoot people in Fortnite and act like I'm just the happiest, jolly, ready to go person when I just don't want to do it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's bro, it's tough.
It reflects at that point. It reflects, like, people are gonna see that you're not having fun.
Oh man.
Because people, I can't tell you the amount of people that has told me that, like, my family is telling me, you see, like, Tim the Tap Man, all of them, they're playing Warzone. Play Warzone. I'm like, I don't fucking play Warzone. I hate Warzone. I don't want to play Warzone.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like,
and they're not getting views because they're playing Warzone. Right? They have the viewers. They could play.
Like, they're funny. Like, they have the personality. Like, Tim is one of the very few, like, huge content creators that I follow and that I enjoy, because like I don't follow, like, I much prefer to watch the smaller streamer, because I get that interaction with the streamer. Like, I'm not gonna watch someone like XQC and get the same interaction I'm gonna get with a smaller streamer, because I watch streams for that interaction. Yeah. So, but I still watch Tim and Tatman and XQC because they're funny. I find them entertaining,
Plus, a smaller streamer's actually gonna benefit more from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Tim the Tatman has 20,000 people watching. He doesn't give a fuck about the view. He doesn't care. Yeah, you know? Somebody's small. Like, I think that's what is so much more beneficial. That's what feels better to everyone, is just having that kind of help. And you know, I absolutely agree with you. People compare that all the time, like all those large content creators. But you know, this is kind of an unpopular opinion, and this isn't me hating either, right? This is just me being as straightforward as possible. A lot of those content creators, kind of, I say it all the time. Streaming is 95% hard work, 5% luck, right? Because you have to put in so much work to get your lucky break. And Tim the Tatman, Dr. Lupo, Courage JD, Daquan, all of them were nobodies, not necessarily nobodies, but they're really small. And then Ninja got lucky. Ninja put them all in his backpack and said, "Come on, guys, we're going to Partner Town," and then walked them all over there. You know, that's kind of, so it's so hard when people look at those people playing Warzone and whatnot and say like, oh, you know, oh, they're big because they play Warzone. But no, it is. They play Warzone, but they're already big. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're already there. Like they can play whatever
Persona,
they want.
They can play anything, and they're gonna get 20,000 people showing up. It doesn't matter. Totally separate. Good. No, and I'm glad we kind of agree on that. And so, you know, all the questions up to now have been kind of light, but number 5 I think is a really big one, especially for people who are watching, who want to be content creators and who are thinking about it. Which is, what's the end goal, right? So you're streaming now, right? And you know, streamers kind of are a rare breed in the sense that we don't necessarily have like 5-year plans or like 10-year plans, because you never know when your break might come. You know, I could be streaming this podcast right now and somebody famous could host me, and then boom, all of a sudden now all my social blowing up. You know, I'm now getting more viewers, my partnership is rising and everything else like that. But I always try to look at like, okay, where does this end? You know, in 20 years from now, am I doing this? Right? Am I still just trying to put on content this way? Have I accrued enough to be able to just retire because maybe it's not as popular? You know, what do you think for you is going to be like where you'd like to end up? What do you see yourself like if everything works out?
My end goal is to make this like a career, is to make this, you know, like a stable form of living, because I don't want to like I don't want to work the 9 to 5. Like I want to do.
It sucks.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I want to do what I want. Like I want to do this for a living because this is what I enjoy the most, and you know, so I guess that end goal for me would be, you know, the Tim the Tatman, where he can do this for a living and live stably. Like that's my end goal.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those weird things where, you know, you see people who get 50 viewers and you're like, wow. And then you see people get 100, you're like, wow. You see people who get 500, 1,000, and it's like crazy. And they're small in comparison to, you know, the Titans who go live and can sometimes pull like 50,000 people every stream just fucking off. You know what I mean? Yeah. Tim the Tatman just dying in Warzone unskillfully, falling off a roof of a building, and just still pull that. And you're thinking like, well, what do I have to do to break this ceiling? You know, get to that next level. What is the thing that does it? And you know, and this isn't me just saying this because you're my guest, but I think that you're absolutely doing it. I think the creative things of, you know, trying to. A lot of people stream and they make the mistake of like, I'm just playing a game, right? So is a million other people that day.
Yeah, exactly.
And potentially that same game, right? Mm-hmm. So where do you delineate from that? And I think what you're doing and what I've been trying to do and emulate as well is something different, right? This podcast, something different. You know, Jeopardy, all the different games, that's something different. It's something that's on brand to what you like to do, but also different enough that people are going to be like, huh, you know, what's going on behind this door over here? This guy's doing something really, really creative and fun. And I think that's so awesome, man. I can't speak highly enough on the progress that you're making. And
thank you.
You know, it's so cool to have other people who are friends who are kind of in the same race as me, you know. I think that a lot of Twitch gets it mixed up. A lot of streaming in general, content creation gets it mixed up in the sense that other people's successes are not your successes, but they should be. Other people's successes are successes for everybody, because if somebody can pioneer a new way of doing something that's great, then you should be thankful because you do the same thing your way, right? They just gave you a pathway and an opportunity to begin to kind of craft your own content in such a unique way. And I just don't think enough people are doing that. I really don't. So
like, yeah, because people view streaming as more of a competition than it is a collaboration, but that's not the case. Like everyone can collab in some like more subtly than they may think. Like just like we said earlier, like taking someone's ideas and like, you know, switching it to match you. That's technically a form of collaboration. You know, they gave you the idea to do, you know, your thing. So, you know.
Yeah, and I think just general collabs are more important too. I feel like there's this hard part where every streamer has to begin to make this change of like, okay, like I really care about, you know, my chat and everyone in my community and talking to them as fast as possible, but now I'm starting to make content where I can't just talk to chat the entire time. And then you have to play that game of people, you know, kind of, you know, even in this stream, people are like, oh, you're not reading chat, you're not doing things, and it's like, yeah, that's the point. We're doing a podcast. Me and this person are talking, so you should maybe just kind of want to listen and ask questions and hang out. You know, it has to be different. And I think that, you know, once you start creating those kinds of content like the Gamer Jeopardy, where you're not just going to be sitting there the whole time reading chat and then trying to do both, where you're doing things, it's a harder distinction, but I think it makes for way better content.
For sure. I mean, and then there's those people, I guess this, I don't know if this goes against your point or not, but there's those people who believe that they can just become famous off of their skill alone, and like they won't read chat, they'll just focus on the game and think like, oh, just because I'm good at this game, people will watch me. That is not the fucking case.
Absolutely
That is not the case at all. I know plenty of people who are fucking gods at like Valorant. Like my friend, he dabbles in streaming here and there. He's like top 5,000 in the world in Valorant. Like, you can't like grow off of that just because you're that high in the runnings. You know, you have to have some kind of personality behind that skill to make people who that wanna come watch you. You know, you
gotta put that whole con tussy into it.
I mean, Ninja. I mean, look at Ninja too. Ninja had the skill in Fortnite, but he was also an entertaining person for some people. Not personally for me, but for some people, you know, like he had both.
Absolutely. And I say this all the time, and I'll say it once more because I want to. I think that Ninja's a fun and interesting case. I speak highly about Ninja. Anytime anyone tries to badmouth Ninja to me, I always disagree. I think Ninja's fucking awesome. I think he's paved the way for content creation as a whole. I mean, he put Twitch on the map. People had no idea you could do that. However, keep in mind that Ninja was a no viewer Andy until, you know, he was posting clips on Instagram and Drake DM'd him. Drake DM'd him and said, hey, can we play Fortnite together?
Yep, I still remember that. It's so crazy that he did that. Oh my god.
Golden opportunity. Ninja had a fucking, literally the goldenest opportunity plop into his lap, right? And he went from whatever viewer stream to hundreds of thousands watching that day. And it's like, you know, that's what I mean. 95% hard work. He was posting his clips to Instagram, being diligent, putting himself out there, and the opportunity landed, right?
Exactly.
But I think there are so many people who are phenomenal people with great personalities who just haven't had their chance yet. Yeah. And I can't wait for more of those people, you know, like myself, like yourself, like I have so many other friends, Oversoul, Mayor Reynolds, who are just really trying their absolute hardest to stand out in that regard. And when they get their chance, like, it's going to be a whole new meta of Twitch. It's the bar is going to be raised so much higher.
Definitely.
We are going to raise the bar much higher.
Definitely.
So we're beyond the 5 questions right now. And so after the first 5 questions are over, you know, this is where we kind of we can relax a little bit more and talk about things that, you know, you and I just might want to talk about before we get to the end, which is the overall grab bag and where anyone, if they want to ask any questions, if not, it's totally fine. But, you know, one thing I wanted to ask you just myself, tailored towards you specifically is, you know, when you had made the decision to move towards talking, you know, primarily about anime, streaming and being about anime, you know, were you concerned that there was going to be this gap of like interest, or maybe this like, you know, your community wasn't going to be as behind you because you were no longer playing X game or Y game, you know, now you're doing just that stuff?
Absolutely. I mean, and I've seen it too. As soon as I switched to like streaming JRPGs, like primarily, Like my average went down. I think I was at 12 and it went down to I think 8.
Oh man, yeah.
And I mean, like that's like I wasn't upset because I expected it, because not everyone is interested in that kind of thing. Like it's a very, especially on Twitch, it's a very acquired taste. So I just had to work hard to build that kind of community.
One note, I didn't mean to interject you. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. Go ahead.
A lot of people don't realize that 12 viewers to 8 viewers is a chunk. That's like for smaller content creators, like that's a big number, right? And especially if 4 of those people are the ones who are chatting. You know, if 4 of those people are people who are active more often and you no longer see them in your chat, keeping chat going, asking funny questions and giving you stuff to work off of, you know, you might think going from 12 viewers to 8 is nothing, but that's it means a lot to smaller people. Tim the Tatman doesn't give a fuck about 4 people leaving. He would, you know, he's sleeping on a bed of money anyway. You know, but you know, continue on, please.
No, but yeah, like that drop was to be expected, because like I said, not everyone is interested in JRPGs. Not everyone is interested in anime, especially on Twitch. So it's a very like acquired taste to find to gather people around you who are interested in that kind of thing. Luckily, I already had some people who were interested in that thing already in my community, so I could always rely on those people to be interested in, you know, to come through. And then it was just about slowly but surely gathering those people who are interested, you know, into my community, have them, you know, join me, and you know, all that sweet jazz. Yeah, no, I think that's important. And you know, like I said, it's really, really cool when you have those token members of your community who really do stick by you to make a lot of those big changes. You know, is there anyone from your community who stands out to you as like people who've just been like irreplaceable? Ooh, that's a good question. A homie of mine, Solomon Isle. I met him, I think, randomly through a mutual friend of mine, because I was one night I was looking for someone to watch, and I was like, oh, this guy, I haven't seen him in a minute. And like, it was to the point where I kind of like forgot who he was. So I went to the stream because he was playing Persona 5, and I was like, you know, I hung out with him, and he's a mod for him. Solomon was a mod for him, so I kind of met him through a mutual, and then Solomon came through, started supporting me, and then now he's a mod for me, and he comes through pretty much every stream, and so he's up there. Who else is a name I see often? A friend of mine, Belief. I also recently met him too through, I think, another mutual of mine, who is also someone who comes through often. His name is some dude. Like a lot of people, it's kind of like just like you know, Twitch is a small world, you know, like you'll always meet someone, as long as you have someone in your community who's interested in the same thing that you are, and they're a content creator, odds are they're gonna be people they're gonna be people in their community who would vibe with you just as much, because if like person A is interested in that kind of stuff, then their community is gonna be interested in that kind of stuff. So you can always find people through you know, your friends. So
yeah,
it's kind of like that.
First off, shout out Solomon, shout out Belief, obviously absolute homies. And secondly, you're absolutely right. There's actually a funny thing that happened with me where I struggled with this for a while, and it took me to really get over it. But I was hosting people a lot for a while. And what would end up happening is a lot of people from my community would then love their content arguably more. And I used to take it very personal and think like, shit, like, you know, am I just a bad streamer? Like maybe I just introduced them to someone who was better, and I griped with that. But then I kind of realized that some people just enjoy certain content better, certain personalities better, and that's totally okay. And then I kind of felt better about it, because now there are people from my community who I love when they stick to somebody else, because it's so great that they're now finding what they truly enjoy in content, and whether it was me or not, that's fine, you know, because a lot of people will always support, but now that person has another dedicated like rock solid person in the community. You know, a great example of that is my friend X and Jeep Wrangler, who was a viewer. Jeep was in my community forever on Mixer. He was in every single stream all the time, nonstop. Dre is a big Jeep nut himself. He has a Jeep. He's spent thousands on souping it up. Jeep Wrangler loved Jeeps. That's why his name was Jeep Wrangler. And they met and just hit it off and loved each other. And I was so happy for Dre. I'm like, hell yeah, man. You got now somebody who's like always there for you in every single stream, always hanging out. And it was just so cool to see him like be able to have that experience. And I think that there should always be more of that. I think people shouldn't be afraid of losing their viewers as if there's something that are yours to begin with. Your viewers are humans. Your viewers are their own people. They like what they like. You know what I mean? So if they can find something better, that's awesome. And you're helping out the homies left and right. I mean, that's for sure. It does not get any better than that.
Definitely.
Now, here's how I'm gonna get a little bit looser because I have been, you know, me and I talk about this all the time, but I just want to address it here on stream. Let's just start talking some anime. I don't know why. It's taken. We already been an hour into this podcast. The first hour has flown by. You are a big anime person. I'm a big anime person. I just want to start off really quickly with this Demon Slayer season.
Oh my god,
man. Oh man. They spent their entire budget on this last episode. I am convinced.
They had to.
It was unbelievable. And having read the manga, I knew it was a badass moment, but it was nothing in comparison to every single thing that they did in this Demon Slayer bit. It was just this. It was absolute fire.
Yeah, just the twists and just like Demon Slayer has always been known for their visuals. Like they even in season 1, like they've always been known for their amazing visuals. So just to see them, and I looked at season 1 and I'm like, damn, this anime is beautiful. And I look at season 2, it's like, holy, I didn't think it could get more beautiful than what it was. But then season 2 came out and I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. Like, what is going on my screen right now? Like, it was amazing.
OG Hayes saying, hold up, don't spoil today's episode.
Yeah, I was trying to refrain from talking about what happened.
You absolutely, after this podcast is done, go watch it immediately because it is breathtaking.
Really
it is breathtaking. Tanjiro in that moment when he just went, you know, like full brain dead, like, and just like full. Oh man, it was
really good.
Start to finish, edge of your seat. I you know, you pay for the whole seat, but you only need the edge. I mean, that's the kind of episode that it is. It's phenomenal. You've read it as well? Yes. Yeah, so I the whole thing is anime versus manga. I think there's a big debate and dispute as far as like, you know, as far as should anime follow the manga specifically or should it delineate? And I'm happy to say Demon Slayer is semi-delineating from the manga. And normally I would never say that. I think, you know, it should stick concrete to it. But the direction that they've taken the art and everything is just like, keep going. Keep going.
Now, no, I'm sorry to cut you off. See now, like, there's a difference between like, you know, diverting from the manga and having it be good, and then like Promised Neverland season 2. Oh
my god.
Like, it's not always great. Sometimes you should stick to the manga.
Yeah, there's definitely horror cases. There's horror cases of people delineating from that, and there are, you know, obviously Demon Slayer, where they're not getting too away from the story. They're kind of keeping on par, but they are like just they're taking it in a better direction. They're going even better. And I think I think it's so cool and so important. I mean, they're absolutely paving the way. What, you know, as an anime content creator, and I think that it's fair to call you that, an anime content creator as well in a lot of cases, do you think that there's any struggles with being an anime content creator in the sense of, one, it's very niche. I mean, I think it's way less niche now than it's ever been. But also, two, the fact that it's kind of hard to get away with being an anime content creator because Japan's very strict on a lot of their copyrights and everything else. I made 2 anime videos for an anime channel that I put so much work into that I only one even got posted, and barely that, because they copyrighted the shit out of me. From start to finish, it was embarrassing. It was like, I barely even got it out.
Well, I feel like the most I do in anime content creation is just the games that I do with other content creators. I've tried to. I've always been thinking about making like reaction videos, you know, like a lot of people do. And because, you know, I think that'd be fun because I put a lot of, or like if an anime gets me emotional in any degree, like I show that when I watch it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I've always thought about that, but then again, I've never actually gone through with it because of, like you said, just the fear of like all the copyrights and all that stuff. And I don't know, I always feel like I get judged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. um, yeah, I always get judged for my opinion on anime too, like, cause don't hate me. I don't find Naruto interesting. I I don't find Naruto interesting.
Oh my god.
I don't think I'll
literally
ever watch
just got
Naruto.
this tattoo.
I'm sorry, I saw it and I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Literally just got that. You see pain right there? Come on.
Yeah. But like, it's not that, and I feel like when people hear me say that, they immediately think I think the anime is bad. That's not the case. I never said it was bad. I'm not interested. I know like Naruto is one of the best animes ever made. Oh my god, it's great. All fight scenes are cool. Great characters, great story development. You know, this, that, and the other. I'm just not interested. I would rather watch something else. You know. Well, same thing with One Piece. Same thing with Bleach. With like, you know, this the top, like, you know,
I have to agree with you. I think it's hard because everyone has their oldie that is their favorite. For you, I know it's Dragon Ball Z. I know Dragon Ball Z holds a very special place in your heart from every time we've talked about it. And Naruto, I think, is the same for me. I think it's one of those things where you kind of, what you found early on is kind of what you gravitate towards a little bit. But also, like, it's to that point where I don't necessarily think compared to all anime that Naruto's like a 10. I just think it kind of has that. I think it has bonus points from the nostalgia category.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't not add nostalgia to it and have like, because everyone's opinion is like at that point is biased because they grew up with it, so of course they're gonna like it more than what's out now. And even like Dragon Ball too. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Dragon Ball. Like, I like Dragon Ball was probably one of the earliest animes I was exposed to because my brother was into it. But like, is it in my top 10? Hell no. It's like probably maybe top 20. But you know, that's just because I've never really watched Dragon Ball for the story. It's always been
just the fight scenes. Exactly.
Yeah. Like the story beats, especially during the Cell Saga. The story beats hit when they needed to, but that's not what I watched it for.
Absolutely.
So it was kind of just like whatever, especially with Super, like.
So then, you know, if you check my anime list, I only have 4 10s on my anime list, as I think it should be. I think a 10 should be like the pinnacle of what it's doing in its category and genre. What would you call a 10?
ReZero.
For sure. I think ReZero is definitely there. Absolutely.
ReZero, personally, for me, are we including anime movies?
Yeah, we could include anime movies. Absolutely.
Definitely Your Name.
I still have a gripe with you putting Weathering with You over Your Name when Your Name was clearly better. It was just,
I don't know. Like,
it's just better.
I think it was just. Should I talk about it? I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it.
That movie's been out for like I don't know how many years. Yeah, you're.
I think what really the one moment in that movie that really sold it for me was when he was running up to the top of the building to her, and all of the side characters were coming to help him. I think that's what sold it for me. Just seeing that moment and seeing all these characters like that care for them and want to see them together, help them get together. Like, that's what really sold that movie for me, I think. Because Your Name, I don't think like Your Name didn't really have any of that. Like, it was more of just focusing on them and having them find each other. But
I know what you mean. Yeah,
I think that's what sold it for. Like, I didn't hate Your Name. Like, Your Name is definitely like right behind there. But it's just, I don't know, Weathering with You kind of just. I'm a sucker for young love, I guess. Like,
yeah, I get it. Like, having seen both of them, it's hard to even kind of have a gripe with them. I forget who the director of all those ones are, but they also did The Garden in the Woods, which was phenomenal, and they did a few other ones as well too that were just amazing. They were just so cool. So your 10s include ReZero, definitely Your Name, Weathering with You for sure.
Yeah, honestly, unpopular opinion, Darling in the Franxx is probably another 10 for me.
Darling, I've not seen that.
I love that anime so much. You've probably seen Zero 2, which is one of the characters, which is the main female character.
I probably have.
So you'll probably know her when you see her.
I can't tell you which website I might have seen her on. I've probably seen her.
Yeah, Darling in the Franxx is probably another 10 for me. Just the sheer emotion that anime made me feel was unrivaled.
Yeah.
And I want to say Shield Hero is a close. I wouldn't say it's a 10, but probably like a 9.8.
It's a good 9. It's a good 9. Shield Hero is really good.
I don't think I have had so much hatred for fictional pixels on my screen.
Yes, the spear guy was the
Shield Hero.
The spear guy, bro, was the worst person in fucking humanity ever. Like,
spit on him every time he came on my screen.
God, dude.
So annoying.
Man, the scene where he tried to kidnap Raphtalia in the duel.
Yeah, like...
Dude, scumbag, bro. Just scumbag. And, like, they tried to frame it so well, like, oh, he bought a slave and he did, you know.
Like, what? And then the whole, like, Naofumi was spitting, too, when they were in the electric cage outside the city. He was like, if you used even, like, a single brain cell... none of this would have happened. You were just blindly following this random woman. For what? For some coochie? Like, what's going on? Like,
can't be that good. Can't be that
like
good.
It was so annoying. Like it was pissed me off. Like I'm just happy it got resolved. Like honestly, they should have died. Like realistically, like I wouldn't have cared. I really wouldn't have cared if they died. I would have been happy. I would have had a smile on my face. But
and it's so crazy too. I like in Shield Hero at the end, like the bow guy is trying to tell him all these heroic things he did, and he's like, wait, you caused all those problems? I had to fix this. I had to fix this.
Yeah, it was like, fix this. Like that whole moment where they were like standing together, and it's like finally the 4 heroes are together, and then you see Naofumi off to the side just with his crew. Like, yeah, I'm not fucking working with you. You crazy?
These guys.
Like, what the hell? Like, do you know how many problems I had to clean up after you guys?
Yeah,
like, why would I work with you? It was such a funny moment, and just him telling them, each of them, exactly what they did wrong. It was just so satisfying.
Yeah.
It was such a satisfying moment.
Yeah, I'd have to say my 4 top 10s, ReZero gets there. ReZero, what really hooked me to ReZero was 2 things. One was the one time where he had his, like, where he just totally shut down, remember? Like,
yeah.
Where he had, like, the day,
I
like,
felt that.
Yes, bro. He was so defeated and scared because I think in that one, it was Rem who killed him. And he was so just shaken up that he was, like just mentally gone, like, numb. Like like he was so, because it was so much.
Well, that's not even the point. The point I was thinking about. I was thinking about when what was he trying to say? I forgot what he was trying to save. It might have been when he was fighting Betelgeuse and he kept dying, and it was just like mentally breaking him down.
Yeah,
I know one of the deaths was when Rem was getting all of her limbs twisted.
Yes. Oh.
That entire sequence, like that, every death for that sequence, with him just slowly but surely losing like pieces of his sanity to the point where he was just numb to it all. Like that hurt.
Yeah.
Like I think one of the big things when people watch ReZero that they have to understand is that they don't understand how much like of a mental toll that takes. Like, it's not like he's not feeling the pain. He's feeling the pain each time he dies. So it's not like, you know, he's coming back to life. Oh, okay, I'm perfectly fine. Like, he still has that experience of feeling that pain when he dies. So I can't even imagine how that must feel. And just the sheer fact that he still gets up and continues is just so honorable and so, like, inspiring.
It really does redeem him, except nothing can redeem him from denying Rem. Nothing can redeem him. The fact
fair, they made a good argument as to why he denied her. I think she made the argument as to why he denied her, because she would just coddle him, and that's not the relationship that she wanted for them. I wanted it too. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I wanted it too, but I understand it, so I'm not that mad.
She poured her heart out, man. Her whole heart.
She did.
And Subaru was like, I want that Emiliusi. we're gonna chase that, bro. It's
Emilia
crazy.
grew on me. At first, I was not liking her, but later, to the later half of the second season, I was like, maybe she's not all too bad, I guess.
Yeah. I think my favorite death was the one where Puck turned into the giant wolf and was standing over the house, and Subaru just like froze in the front.
Yeah, why was that the first one that came to my head too?
That's my favorite death, man. That one was just so chilling, like, because it was just silent.
And then the end credits rolled, and like it even cut to black, and the end credits rolled over.
Yes, over him freezing, and the snow kept piling up. Like they animated the whole thing.
Yeah. That was such a. I love the visual, like the visuals for ReZero, like the symbolism for ReZero has always been great. Like it has some of my favorite like openings too. Like if you watch the opening visuals for ReZero, you would not understand what's going on unless you watched the show, and that's probably my favorite thing about those openings is just like I think it's I know the song is called Realize, and he's passing by all of his season 1 deaths. And it's such a it's such a kind of like a heart-wrenching moment because you're remembering these deaths and how they made you feel, and then you had the shadowy hands covered wrap their arms around him, and then the shadow lifts and it turns into Echidna.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know what that meant unless you watched the show, and I love that.
There was so much cool shit from that show. That's why that one's an easy 10, for sure. Definitely. I could talk about ReZero all day.
Definitely.
Haikyuu number is definitely a 10.
I need to finish that. I started watching it. I remember I started watching it because I was on a trip before I lived in Florida. I think I was taking a bus to New York, for a vacation.
Hey,
I was watching it on
me?
I started watching it. This is back when it only had one season. I started watching it and I stopped, I think, halfway and never finished. I never continued.
Man, so they have an arc. They have an arc of one game that's one season. It's one game that is one whole season. And it is the fucking absolute best and most intense anime I've ever watched in my life. It is more intense than anything, than the Madara versus the 5 Kage. It's more intense than when they were fighting the white whale. It's more intense. Like it is so crazy how oh my god, I'm like cheering at home. I'm like fucking oh my god, I'm fucking having popcorn and shit, I'm watching it myself. I
love when animes do that and they invoke those feelings. I can't think of any other type of media that has gotten those feelings out of me other than anime. And
you're absolutely right. Yeah, and that's why the next 10 out of my 4 would be To Your Eternity. If you've not watched that,
I have not seen that. It's on my list. It's on the back burner.
It is. I cried so much to that show. It's phenomenal. And the thing to keep in mind about it that's so good is it's the most creative title I've ever seen. It's the most creative title I've ever seen. It is the best. It is the best. The fact of the idea of a ball, a sentient god. Have you seen the Marvel, what is it? The What Ifs?
Yeah.
Disney. You know how the Watcher is this god who's I watch everything, but I never interfere. So so there's a god like that, and he's like, I'm about to interfere a little bit. It's like feudal China time, back when they had horse wagons and shit like that. And he throws on this ball, and everything the ball touches, it becomes.
Yeah.
But they have to die. Whatever it touches has to be dead, and it can become it. So it touches a rock, and it becomes the rock. Then moss grows on the rock, and it becomes the moss. And then a wolf dies on the rock, and it becomes the wolf. And it has slight memories from the wolf, but not really. So it just walks in a random direction until the wolf runs into this human who recognizes it, and then he roams with the human, and then eventually that human dies and he becomes the human. But mind you, it has no sentience, so it doesn't even really know how to walk as a human or stand. It just got put in this body, but it's still just this nothing.
Yeah.
And so you see it meet people and learn to talk, learn to walk, learn to eat, and then gain sentience of itself, because while it's doing all of this, the god keeps reappearing and only he can see it. And then he has moments where it's what me, what am I, he said, what me. And the god's like, oh, you're like a project. You're something I put here to like basically, and he's like, why? And he's like, and it's like he starts to understand like the reality of it all. But the thing is, he meets these people, and then like stuff happens and more people die, and then he can become those people. And it's like he like grows more and more sentient and gets these attachments to people, and like it's amazing. It's fucking just so cool, dude. It's a firm 10. And then I forgot what I was gonna say is my last one. I mean, there's so many. I put Dr. Stone in a 10 of its own category. It's just Dr. Stone's fucking cool, man. Again, if you haven't watched that, please do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you a new list, man.
Yeah, trust me. I already have a list with like.
I'm just gonna say, if I was hosting this Jeopardy, you might not win, because I know.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. No, you're right. I swear, you're probably gonna do like pretty well. Because you have a lot more knowledge on anime than I do, and because my knowledge of anime is very limited, so it's probably gonna be
I've always wanted to be an anime content creator, and so we should definitely try to collab on more anime content creation things, because I fucking love it, bro. Like I absolutely love all of it. So we are getting close to about the hour 30 mark, and I figured now is the time where we could start addressing any questions from chat. So I'm gonna scroll up, check on some of the questions that we got from people, and then just kind of address some of that out in the open and just talk about it, as much as possible. So I am just gonna scroll over here because I do remember that there was one that I had just seen from Cinti saying the reason most people are big because they are the first to do something. For example, Ninja with Fortnite. And what are some things that you're planning on doing to try to be the first of something to stand out in general?
I want to try to see how many things I can apply anime to. Like, for instance, like the Jeopardy, or like I want to be the first to make like these series of like anime related games, where I can collab with other content creators and get them in on it. And I want to be like that guy, like the anime man on YouTube. Yeah.
He's an interesting case because he hates anime now, but then again, he's also like, his My Anime list I think has like 1,000 entries or something. Like, he's watched like everything, and everything on it is full 100%ed. Like, he watched everything to the 100%. And I think it does raise a good point where shit has to be so creative these days for it to be interesting, because of the fact that there's so many ideas that are repeated. Like Jujutsu Kaisen is One Piece, is Naruto, is Black Clover, is like there's so many like stamp repeats of whatnot that, I think there needs to be more. And in fact, I was talking to someone about it last night, and they had mentioned that they want more animes of darkness, like where the main character is not this jolly go happy person, but like a fuck you. And that's where I recommended Shield Hero first. I'm like, listen, if you want fuck you, go on Shield Hero. You'll get all the fuck you want. But I think that's awesome. I think wanting to break that gap and really stand out and be the person who's just the person. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of people, but being the person, I think, is going to be the thing that really helps delineate you. And I think you're doing a good job at that. OG Hayes had asked, do you plan out your streams and do you actively work on viewer community engagement? And before you answer that, I'll answer partially on his behalf. Absolutely plans out his streams. You can see that on his Twitter all the time. And as far as viewer engagement, I'd like to liken you to, I don't know if you've ever seen Small Ant. Small Ant's a content creator who does speed runs, but he does such a great job of having the game and the chat balance. And I feel like I even need to work on that, because sometimes, you actually nailed on the head earlier, because you mentioned that you have comfort games like Smash where you can mindlessly play them and respond to chat. And I have that with Fortnite, and Valorant took me like months before it was a game that I could play and also talk during, because I just couldn't. I could not. It was embarrassingly impossible to try to have a conversation while not getting my cheeks clapped by some sweaty jet on the other side.
See, for me though, I feel like I could do it with Valorant, even though just because if it's a game that I don't really care for, or like not that I don't really care for it, like League, like I really much only play undrafted on League because I couldn't care less about my League ranked. That just reminded me of a toxic interaction I had on League. But yeah, so I can play League and I could be doing bad, whatever. I'll be mad at League because I can never really get mad at League. I can get mad at that I do bad because that's like the only reason, like the only way I'll get mad at League. And even then, it lasts for like maybe the rest of the game, and then next game comes up, I'm like refreshed, I'm like okay, cool, whatever, next game. So like League is another one of those games where I can kind of just play and focus on chat primarily because it's not something that I'm like, oh man, we lost, damn, you know, like I don't care. Same thing with like Valorant, same thing with Smash. Like I don't really care, especially especially if it's like an unranked mode. If it's an unranked mode, I have even more of a reason not to care. So it's like, it's like it's whatever. I'm gonna focus on chat, you know.
Wish I could say the same about League. when I'm top lane getting ganked by the jungle and they're mid and the top laner and my jungle is in fucking who knows where and I'm just like
it's an enemy jungle getting their red.
I get so fucked. I get so mad.
Oh, trust me. See, I'm a bot lane man. I play either ADC or support, so like I always have that other person there with me. So what do you mean? Hey, what's going on?
That's funny. That's funny. You're right. I like bottom too. I only play Ezreal bottom, but you know, it's fun. There's something about the individualistic ability of top lane where you have to actually like fight for like being the better person, and it's just kind of 1v1. You know,
because like because if you're a bot, you know you always, if you run ADC, you always have that worry of like, oh, I'm getting carried by my support, you know, or like or like vice versa. So like, yeah, I understand that, but
your expectations are lower.
Yeah, exactly. Like I always rely on my support to be the initiator in fights, so like I get the kills, and, you know, I can kind of jump on that. Cause I've literally only been playing Zeri since she came out. Really, I love Zeri. She's so fun.
I haven't tried her. She's like the so Neon of Valorant in League, basically, right?
Literally copy and paste. Yeah, like she's so fun. Like, do you know what she does?
I do not know.
Oh my god. So like, I'm pretty sure like I don't know if you've seen the trailer for her. Like the gameplay trailer, but they kind of did her differently. So her Q is treated like her auto. It's a skill shot that, so like they basically explain it as her Q is every other ADC's auto.
Oh.
And it's a skill shot. So like and your auto, so like whenever you move around, so they also said to constantly be on the move, because when you move around and you Q, you build up this meter under her, which basically, if it gets filled, her next auto, which is like her lightning attack, it does bonus damage and it slows.
Oh, okay.
So you always want to be on the move with her and like always queuing. And then her E is kind of like Talon. She can dive over walls, but as long as she can dive over walls as long as the wall. So if you aim it correctly, she can zoom over a straight wall.
Oh my god.
And it also gives her bullets, her Q pierce, so it goes through it. So her next 3 Qs pierce also.
Gee, that's fucking strong.
Her W is like Jinx. W. It's like it slows. It's like a straight beam that slows. But if you shoot it at a wall, the beam widens. It takes like a second to go off, but the beam widens and it does the same thing. And it goes through the wall. And then her ult is just like Blitzcrank ult, where it does damage in a radius. But then the more time she Qs champs, she gets bonus movement speed and bonus attack speed, and it like stacks like. And the duration of her ult, it just extends the more you hit champions. So she can do a lot.
Yeah.
But that's basically Zeri. That was really off topic.
No, I was actually interested to hear because I haven't had a chance to play her.
No, she's fun though. She's really fun.
I haven't done too much of League as much recently because of TFT and because of other things, but I think that we should absolutely plan some time to do that soon because I would
so down.
I would fucking love to, man. League's such a fun time. And that actually makes me think about Riot Games too, because I think Riot Games is doing the absolute best that any gaming thing is doing in general. I mean, everything that they release is polished and clean, and in fact they're actually working on an MMORPG, which is like, oh god.
Oh, and they're doing fucking Project L. Have you seen that?
No, what's that?
It's a 2v2 league fighting game.
Oh, I did see that.
That looks crazy. I can't wait for that to come out. That looks so good. That looks very clean.
Well, then you got Arcane too, which is like
true, and that's a masterpiece. Oh my god,
Arcane's a 10. It's not an anime, but it's animated, and it's 10, dude.
Easily 10.
That is, whew.
But to kind of go back to the first part of that question, do I plan my streams? Yeah, like Flex said, I always usually either towards the end of the week that I really think about what I'm gonna do for next week. So like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday is kind of like the day where I'm like, if I haven't gotten it decided by Sunday, then I do it on Sunday. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit down. What do I feel like playing this week? And then I look at all my games. I look at what I haven't played in a minute because my schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and since I'm a JRPG streamer, Mondays and Wednesdays are my JRPG days, so I play JRPGs on those days, and then Friday is my variety day where I play whatever I feel like, Smash, League, Apex, all that sweet jazz. And those are usually my days where I play with viewers too. Like I try to pick a game where people could join me, just so I get that extra bit of viewer interaction. Because I know JRPGs are single player games. Like they're not really games where, unless you're interested in it, they're not really games where you could really interact. So that's why I kind of have Fridays as those days. But yeah.
Well, I think it's important to try to find a balance of things that you actually enjoy playing, but also can be done, semblantly with chat, because I like the fact that a lot of my streams more often have been, really community focused things that are going to be great for other avenues of content and just really fun times. But, I'd be a liar if I said that I didn't want to just, like I mentioned TFT, but another game is Rust, where if I just want to play Rust Wipe and literally just like go crazy and almost not even worry about chat and just try to put on a good show, just having fun myself. And I think there's that issue of sometimes streaming of like, I want to do this, but it's going to not hit.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think finding that balance, kind of like you mentioned, is the best way to do it. Have the days for everyone and then have the days for you. I'm actually thinking about doing that more outside of stream, like getting in Discord and doing like anime nights and things like that. And I think
I keep telling myself to do that too, and I need to put that into motion.
We could probably do that even as a thing, just collectively, because I was doing it for a little bit, and we were doing oh my god, what's the name of it? I'm forgetting it. The Viking one.
Vinland Saga?
Yes, we were doing Vinland Saga for a little bit, but then it kind of not dissipated too much, but it just was something where it was harder to fit in because my time off stream has to be time off stream, my time on stream has to be time on stream. It's hard for me to kind of have the wishy-washiness in the schedule, because I don't like to overwork myself. Too much is too much, and you could feel it when you're doing too much, But yeah, so I definitely want to try to get more of that kind of stuff done, and as well with you. Trying to address a few more of these chat questions as well as I'm scrolling down. This is a one is age old as time. OG Hayes saying Superman or Goku, and I think we might as well just address that one right away.
There's like 3 death battles for this, and I know I've seen it. Who won that? I forgot who won that. According to Death Battle, I believe it was. Let me just double check. I believe it was Goku though, but I might be wrong.
I think that people give them too much power.
Mm-hmm.
I think they give people too much power. I think Goku and Superman are the least of anyone's concern.
Yeah. Superman's so bland.
Just 3 anime characters off the top of my mind who could beat them. 1, Saitama, for sure. Easy clap. Number 2 is the vice captain of the Golden, what is it, Golden Dawn, Black Clover?
Ooh, I don't remember his name, but I know what you're talking about.
Who just erases shit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, that guy alone would just poof. I mean, even what's his name from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with Zahando? he could just take away Superman or Goku. Like, it wouldn't even be that difficult of a fight. I mean, I think maybe it's a bit wild to say JoJo's character could beat Superman and Goku, but I think that they give him too much credit. It's just.
I mean, honestly, there's been plenty of arguments that Ben 10 could beat both of them, and they make sense. And they make it, like, if you watch, like, there's been plenty of theory, like, there's been plenty of videos talking about why Ben 10 would beat both of them. And they make sense. Like, they bring up a lot of good, like, pieces of evidence. Yes, like, I'm telling you have to watch them. I remember watching them randomly when I was in high school, because I was interested in them. And I mean, they make, like I said, like, I'm a huge, like, Ben 10 is probably my number one cartoon.
I loved Ben 10, dude. I loved it. I like the backstory with the ghost. I like
all of that was so, like, they really created a world and built upon it. But there's been a lot of theory videos from people who are also fans of the show as to why he would beat both of them. And they, like I said, they bring up.
Become Superman's
Yeah,
like,
he can
race?
become both of them. Yeah, he can become both of them, and it's like the Omnitrix works in a sense where he gains basic knowledge of all of their skills, so he knows how to fight as their race. So it would be like an even match at that point.
Yeah,
and
no,
like, so like it makes sense.
That's kind of fucking hilarious. Ben 10 beating up Superman. I've never even heard that. That is hilarious.
Yeah. If you have the time, definitely try to look up those videos, because it's interesting to watch.
If it had to be between the two of them, I'd probably say Goku, just because he just screams louder and gets stronger. He has the ability.
Definitely not with Ultra Instinct too, or like Mastered Ultra Instinct. So
yeah, I mean, it's like Superman's pretty. Like, Superman dies to kryptonite. Like, Goku doesn't have a kryptonite.
He's
you know what I
weak
mean?
to a rock.
Yeah, like Superman doesn't have a kryptonite, or Goku doesn't have a kryptonite. So it's like kind of easy that Goku would just have to procure a kryptonite, you know? Yeah. I like a lot of those. See, like, DC is so mid. DC is so fucking mid. Like, all DC shit is so mid. And I like that because you have like the comic book series where Batman kills the Justice League. Where he has this entire novel written of how he would kill every single person in the Justice League. And he should not be able to do that. I don't think that's the case.
He shouldn't be able to do that. No, you're right. He should not be able to do that.
Like, I don't get, he's a fucking guy with money. Like, you like, okay, Marvel has done it, but in a realistic way. Like, Marvel had like Deadpool versus Deadpool kills Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. But he actually, like, everything made sense. Like, he took Pym particles, made giant C4 into these tiny things, put it in the Avengers coffee, and they drank coffee, and then he detonated the bombs at full size and destroyed the Avengers in one swing. And, like, that makes sense. But, like, I feel like all superheroes shouldn't have a kryptonite. Like, it kind of just doesn't make sense to me.
My thing, I'm sorry to cut you off. My thing with Batman 2 is that whenever someone says, oh, Batman would beat this person with prep time. What the fuck do you mean with prep time? Like, if the Flash is random, like, to see, like, I had this argument with a couple of my friends earlier too, as like to why the Flash is one of the most broken DC characters. If he woke up one day and wanted to kill like the entire Justice League, he could do it in like a nanosecond. Yeah. Without any, because he's faster than Superman. That's easy. That argument's already off the book. And Batman doesn't have prep time for that. He doesn't know that that's happening. Yeah. So what prep time does he have for that? It's not, he can easily do that. And my favorite DC storyline is Flashpoint Paradox, because I love anything having to do with like the multiverse. I'm a huge like. Oh, you're excited about Dr. Stone or Dr. Strange? Oh yeah. Yeah. I also have to talk about the Flash solo movie, but I'll get to that when I'm done. But yeah, like, I love the whole thinking about, if I didn't do this, what would happen? Like, I love thinking about the multiverse, Yeah. So Flashpoint Paradox spoke to me, because it's like, what if, like just the fact that Barry saving his mother led to all of these events, like Aquaman and Wonder Woman at war with each other. Superman was found by the government instead of his foster parents. Bruce dies. Bruce was the one that died in the alley. His mother becomes Joker. His dad becomes Batman. Like all of that. Like just that one event changing everything like that is such a cool idea to me. Yeah. So like I love that. And like I could, even though I'm a Flash fan, I could admit all of his villains are fucking mid or don't make sense.
Yeah, dude, it's that's what I mean about DC, bro. Like DC's like, here's this villain, he's just a shark kind of person. And it's like,
dude, his villain is Captain Cold. He's just a dude with a gun. How is he a villain? Yeah, he should not do anything to you.
The Penguin is just a fat guy.
He's just a guy. Yeah, he's just a criminal. He's a mob boss. Like, what's going on?
And they're like, damn it, how are we gonna stop this guy? It's like, what the fuck do you mean, how are we gonna stop this guy?
Speaking of the Penguin too, or like speaking of Batman villains, have you seen the trailer for the new Batman movie?
I have not. No, I have not. That's the Pattinson one, right?
Yeah, the Pattinson one. Yeah. The Riddler looks fucking stupid.
I'm already disinterested.
The Riddler looks.
My interest was at 0 to start, and so I've gone to the negatives.
No, I'm telling you, he looks like a henchman. He doesn't look like the Riddler at all. He doesn't have like the top hat, the green. Like he wears like a dark dark green suit with like a mask that covers his face. He looks like he doesn't look anything like the Riddler. And I hate to be that guy who's like, oh, he didn't look like the comics. It's bad. But like.
You have to sometimes.
It looks trash. It doesn't look good. You can deviate from the comics and have it still look good.
If you have source material, keep source material. Exactly. It should be that simple. If you have source material.
The Avatar live action movie. That's a perfect example of that. They had a gold mine with that movie. They had a perfect story lined up. All you had to do was follow it.
Yeah, copy and paste.
They fucked it up, and they somehow still fucked it up.
They always do it. Ready Player One was the biggest. It's a knife in my heart. Ready Player One's my favorite book. It's amazing. Have you seen the movie?
I have not seen the movie. No.
Okay, a lot of people see Ready Player One and they're like, "Wow, this is great! This is a great movie. I liked it. It was so quirky and fun." Ha ha ha. It had almost the book in it were maybe 95% different. They kept the namesake, and it was you think Promise Neverland season 2 is fucking off the rocker. Ready Player One was nothing like the book. Nothing. Nothing. I don't get how authors just sell out like that. I don't get how you make Avatar and then let the live action Avatar happen, and nobody's like, stop! No!
Yeah, that's your property. You're having to stop.
Yeah, bro. It's so fucking bad. It's just some weird exec in a room's like, yeah, how about we not do what already worked? How about we try my idea?
Yeah, how about we call him Ong instead of Aang?
I invested in Bitcoin 2 years ago, so you should trust me on this one. I'm pretty good at this stuff. Let's change his name. Let's go ahead and fuck it.
Let's have 6 Earthbenders bend 1 pebble moving at the speed of me walking.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense. It's so bad. It was so terrible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're working on a live action Netflix show too. I don't know if you know about that.
Don't even tell me that. You're gonna make me sick to my
Netflix
stomach.
Is doing a live action show. At least it's gonna be a show, not a movie. And then they're already making changes too. I don't know if this is confirmed, but I did hear a rumor that for some odd fucking reason they're switching Sokka and Katara's ages.
It does whatever, dude. It's
I don't know why they're doing that.
I like what Netflix has been doing. I like what Netflix has been doing. But
Netflix shows are really hit or miss. Personally, they're either gonna hit, or they're gonna miss. Arcane was a huge fucking hit.
Arcane was nuts. Arcane was the best piece of cinema on Netflix I think maybe ever. I think Arcane has the media and cinema impact that the original Avatar, not Avatar Last Airbender, but Avatar the movie.
By James Cameron? Yeah.
I think they have the same impact. I think it has the same impact as that. I think it has the same impact as the Batman movie with the Joker as Heath Ledger. Where it's just it's groundbreaking. It's defining a whole new meta that you didn't think was possible. And I think it's phenomenal. I think it's fucking great. I think it's so fucking good. I think Arcane really did put it, and fuck League and all of that other stuff. Yeah. Arcane as a standalone is just too good.
Yeah, even my friends who aren't interested in League at all has watched Arcane and they love it. They think it's a great story. It introduces people to League without them even knowing what League is.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird for me too when they call Jinx powder. And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
Well, that's not okay. I get why they do it because they don't know her name is Jinx, but I've been calling her Jinx since the beginning of the show because I knew that was Jinx. Yeah. No. I mean, people who are fans of Arcane but aren't fans of League.
Oh.
They call Jinx powder, but I've been calling Jinx since the beginning of the show because I knew that's who she was.
Yeah.
But having it's just a weird thing. It's I don't have anything against it, but it's just a weird thing that I saw throughout Twitter, and it's just but it's but yeah, I love how it's introducing people to this world because they really have an entire world.
They do, and when the MMO comes out,
that's gonna be crazy.
It's you can enter the world of Arcane. Arcane lore is different to League of Legend lore, Danny says. And he's absolutely right. Arcane lore is different. Arcane lore is entirely different, but very similar. They've taken a lot of things and they've made some stuff a little bit different. Like, Jinx and Vi, I'm pretty sure just in League lore, are not related.
No, they are.
In League
lore? Sure. In League lore, I'm pretty sure they are, yeah.
No, well, I think they don't know. Well, yeah, Wizard Danny says that Jinx doesn't know Vi's her sister. Yeah, I don't think that, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not how that functions. Victor's story is a little bit different as well.
I thought they had voice. Oh no, that's probably with the Arcane skin they have voice lines. Because I know Jinx has a voice line where she says, if you think I'm crazy, you should see my sister. But I'm not sure if she has that on her default skin or if that's her Arcane skin voice line.
Yeah, because I do know in the lore, and Danny's feeding me the stuff that I was literally just gonna say. Vi is actually an enforcer with Caitlyn.
Yeah.
So she's basically on the police force as that functions, and maybe that's gonna happen in future Arcane. Like maybe she, gives up on the Undercity and joins the enforcer side. But there's a lot to see of what happens with that. I mean, it ended on a fucking banger. I mean.
Yeah, that was
Jinx blowing up the Capitol. We now know Nocturnes are gonna come. We could potentially see some work with Demacia. I mean, there's so much that is just ripe for the picking.
Yeah, they had literally. Yeah, they're sitting on top of so many stories that they could just pull from.
And one thing I think they did. Oh, not to interject. I'm so sorry. I was just finishing the thought there. One thing I think they could have done more in Arcane is more fight scenes. I think. Yeah. I think the Echo versus Jinx on the bridge was like.
It was so short.
It was short, but like the thing that makes League so cool is the fighters and their abilities. Like why everyone's so different. And if they could capture more of that in Arcane, a little bit more of like, some fighting, I think that's gonna be kind of real cool. Because most of the action kind of happens in the past tense. It's like the action happens quickly and then they spend more time on the after of like, like a bomb blows off and it's like boom, and then like it's like 30 minutes talking about all that. And I think if they did more of like the actual action sequencing, it'd be really, really cool. Because they proved they can do it. The scenes of Vi jumping down all those things and whatnot, like that was choreographed well. There's just a lot in it. I'm very, very excited. But yeah, OG Hayes did jump up with another question as well too. And I think we talked about it a bit, and I think we're gonna probably see about maybe moving towards a close with this one. It's kind of what we talked about as well too. He said, what goals do you have set for your content, daily, weekly, yearly? And I think, not to beat the horse dead, I do think that we talked about the goals in general, just kind of being that, you kind of want to carve out your name as somebody respected as an anime creator, right?
Yeah, daily is just, put out content that I enjoy, make sure that people know that this is what I'm interested in, and this is the kind of content that I want to make. Weekly, it's the same deal, but maybe I want to try and get as many. I guess it morally applies for like monthly or like yearly, but I want to try and get more collabs with other anime enjoying content creators such as yourself, because I want to make more content revolving around anime. And to do that, I feel like the best way to do that is to get other anime enjoyers in on it, so we can get everyone's opinion, and I can get their opinion, because obviously not a lot of people have the same opinion on anime that I do, because I know for me personally, I thoroughly enjoy the isekai genre. I think you're the same.
Absolutely.
I thoroughly enjoy the isekai genre, and there's plenty of people who think they think the isekai genre is played out. It's boring, it's the same story every time.
It's hard to do original.
Yeah, it's hard to do original, and that's why I like ReZero so much, because there's nothing like ReZero in the isekai genre.
Yeah.
But yeah, ReZero, Slime, like that's why I like Slime so much too, is because they have like Slime is kind of like that generic. Like on the surface level, it seems like that generic MC is overpowered, but they have so many moments in the show where they humble him and they make it to like maybe everything, like he's not gonna win every fight, he's gonna take some L's in there. Overlord 2, oh my god, Overlord is fucking slept on.
I've never watched it.
It's so good. The world building in Overlord, the characters, it's such a good isekai. I can't wait for season 4 to drop.
All right.
Such a good fucking
when I will start Overlord as long as you promise to start To Your Eternity.
Absolutely.
To Your Eternity is my absolute favorite recommendation. It's the thing I think just everyone should watch it at least once because it's so visceral and so it has such a like perspective on like life and sentience and what it all means, from something to go to absolutely nothing, just a ball, just a rock, to having full conversations and sentience and understanding himself and like understanding other people and them understanding themselves more. It's this beautiful story, and that's why, that show has immediately become, I think, my favorite of all time. I think it's the absolute best anime I think that exists, in my opinion, and that's saying a lot.
Fair. That's fair.
It's hard to say because there's better moments in certain things, right?
Yeah.
But I think my overall best is that. I think that's
yeah. I mean, like I feel the same way with Slime too. Is Slime a 10 out of 10? No, like ReZero is a 10 out of 10 for me. But I enjoy Slime a lot more because it just means a lot more. Like I love the way they balance the serious moments with the because Slime, as you know, is like it's a very lighthearted anime.
Yeah.
They have a lot of like a lot of lighthearted moments with the characters and how they show Rimaru's progression in building Tempest and meeting like building his support group,
and how
no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say and how, like I said, non-discriminatory he is.
He makes
everyone feel
he just wants
loved.
He literally said his only goal is to build a town where he can live peacefully with his friends. Like that's his only goal. It doesn't matter what he can. Like it doesn't matter who you are, what race you are, whatever. Like he's going to accept you as long as you don't threaten his goal. So.
And sometimes visit the elf bar in town.
Yeah. Those moments are always funny. Yeah, like those moments are always funny. But yeah, like he doesn't discriminate, and that's one of the reasons I like him so much as a protagonist. So the anime is just, it holds a special place in my heart for how wholesome it is. But yeah, you can hold another anime above your favorite, but still have your favorite.
Absolutely.
Because that's gonna happen. There's plenty of anime that are better than my favorite one, but I like what I like. It's not gonna change.
And I'm on the same crusade as you. I feel like more people should watch anime. I feel like a lot of people put it in this category of this childish thing, this very, immature thing. And I think a lot of people make it that way because they give a bad impression. But, if you could get past some of the really cringe cosplays and all of My Hero Academia's fan base, you'd find out that there's actually a really, really beautiful, charming thing behind it all. It's just beautiful.
It's the fan bases that ruin it for most of the time.
Yeah. Well, it's also the fact that some are harder to digest. I mean, when things get a little eshy, it's not easy. I had to watch Konosuba alone, very far away from everybody, because there's no way to watch Konosuba like anywhere with family or anything around.
Yeah.
You never know when. You know what I mean? It's
definitely. Even things like, listen, no one believes me when I say this, but I watched all of High School DxD simply for the plot. Like the story for High School DxD, and no one believes me when I say this, and I swear to God, I'm not capping when I say this. The story should not be as good as it is for that anime. It just comes off as a random generic, harem, ecchi anime, but it's so fucking good. Like the plot behind it is so good.
Yeah, it's
same thing with like a lot of harem animes, they're very cookie cutter. It's like, MC, is this. He slowly but surely gains his following of females who want, who want his pee-pee, that
happens. Yeah.
Usually how, there's a lot of cookie cutter harem anime like that. But I feel like High School DxD has a really good plot that's worth the watch. Same thing with Data Live too. I'm not sure if you've seen that.
I've not, no.
But Data Live is also another really good one.
Yeah. I really like this question by
the story for that is pretty good too.
And no, I plan on watching. Again, more things on my list.
Your mic is muted, by the way.
Oh wait, is my? Oh shit.
I just saw lips moving, but no sound came out.
Oh, that was so weird. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
That was so weird. No, I was talking. I was like, why is it was being so weird? I don't know how that happened. I like the question from OG Hayes. What's the next big three?
The next big three. Okay, I'm gonna call it now. The next big three: Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero, Demon Slayer. My Hero and Demon Slayer.
Yeah,
are the next three.
It's so hard because those are like the same style as like the Bleach, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, if you want to put One Piece over Bleach, you could do Bleach.
Yeah, I mean it's whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean I think it's safe to say that. I think it's very safe to say that My Hero Academia, and Demon Slayer for sure, and Jujutsu Kaisen.
I always say Jujutsu Kaisen just because of the popularity it got in the short amount of time that it's been airing. Because think about it. I don't know if you know this. Jujutsu Kaisen won Best Anime of the Year for last year, and the first season wasn't even finished when it won. So that says a lot as to how many people enjoy that show, and I can see it going pretty far as long as it keeps on the pace that it's on. I can see it going very, very, very pretty far into easily becoming a top 3.
Yeah, and it's tough too because people are saying big threes are supposed to have large amounts of episodes. Demon Slayer's manga is finished, done, books wrapped up. So there's no more manga after that. Demon Slayer's done when it reaches that point. But the way that they're doing it, they're pacing themselves very well, right? They're giving each episode plenty of time. This arc in the manga was maybe a couple of, maybe I don't even know how many chapters. Not too long though. This entire arc. Yeah. But they've made these episodes so unbelievable with so much to them that they're really finding a good way to stretch out this empire. And I think it could potentially reach that 100 to 200 episode mark without difficulty. I think Demon Slayer can do that.
Ooh, actually, maybe swap JJK for Black Clover. Black Clover.
That's risky because Black Clover stopped.
Risky.
Black Clover stopped.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't it coming back though?
I think it is coming back because they caught up to the manga.
So I think maybe it's a very big maybe, but definitely But I think it's a calm competition for third for with JJK and Black Clover. I forgot about Black Clover.
Black Clover's really good, but I think that they're having the same issue that Seven Deadly Sins have, which is that they get to a point where the animation kind of gets lazier and they're not caring so much about because it's so it gets to a point where it's been on for so long and it's just it gets to a point where there are a little bit a little bit slow. Jujutsu Kaisen, same thing, and what was I gonna say? Jujutsu Kaisen, I think are pacing themselves the same way that Demon Slayer is pacing itself, where it's definitely. season movie. Mm-hmm. And I think that's how it should be. I think it should be like that because this next movie is gonna be a fucking bomb. They're gonna be dropping a bomb on everyone.
JJK? Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Same thing with My Hero too. My Hero has 3 movies already. I only seen the first one. The first one was phenomenal. Holy, it's my personal favorite shonen anime movie. That whole scene, the whole fight scene with Deku and All Might versus whatever the fucking villain name was. That was insane. The double Detroit smash. That was, oh my god. I was in the theaters doing backflips. Man,
the second movie was a banger too. I don't know if you care about spoilers at this point.
I do plan on watching it, so I would refrain. But I know it's good. I know a lot of people said it was good.
The fight scene at the end.
I know Deku and Bakugo has a big fight scene in that one too.
That is the fight scene. That's the fight scene. Well, that is actually how so I read about this. The way that movie ends is how the manga, how they wanted to end it, but it got too popular, so they didn't do that. Yeah.
Speaking of My Hero too, I believe I heard a rumor that there was an interview with the creator, and they said that if everything goes well, then if everything goes how they plan it to, the manga should be ending this year.
Well, they should, because they have Vigilantes, which is a separate manga series of My Hero Academia, which is awesome. I don't know if you've heard about that at all, but it's really cool.
I heard about that.
It's a totally spin-off My Hero Academia that's a bit more adult. It's basically, there's a guy whose power it's basically talking about society as a whole, And the way that it functions is there are people who are vigilantes who are not heroes through the hero course, but they just kind of help out their neighborhood in little ways. And so there's 3 main characters. The Crawler, who's this guy whose ability is if his hands and feet are touching, at least 3 of his limbs are touching any surface, he just moves, kind of like a go-kart. And so that's his ability.
Okay.
There's a girl who's a pop star whose name is Pop Step, and her ability is she jumps high. And then there's a third guy who is just this really old guy who wears a bandana, and he has no powers. He's just strong as hell, and he just beats people up. And so they kind of form this vigilante group to like stop crime in their area. And they sometimes have run-ins with heroes and stuff like that. But what happens is they end up getting in over their heads. They end up taking their small-scale operation and then starting to fight actual like crime lords, like Chisekai, like territory of like really bad shit, and they're kind of like, oh my god. And then because of like the severity of it all, they actually get much stronger. Like the Crawler realizes, like he realizes like, okay, like how do I move? I'm not actually touching the ground. When my limbs are all down, I kind of hover slightly and kind of move, kind of like an air hockey table, right? So he's like, so maybe, and then he learns that he can actually shoot that force out. And then he learns that if he goes fast enough with momentum, he could stick to walls and go up walls. And then he learns that he can use it to kind of fly. If he like shoots it out of his feet, he could kind of like, so he like progress.
Cool.
So it's kind of cool how that progresses, and it's a whole separate story, and it's more adult because people are dying. Like it's very like, it has like ashy moments. Like it's like My Hero Academia, kind of unleashed a little bit in a way. And so it's a really cool spin-off series. So I read that one, and then they have like other spin-off series as well, like one-shots of missions that people go on, like missions that Shoto, Bakugo, and everyone like go on themselves, like their own missions and whatnot. So it's really cool.
It's cool.
And
me and my friends, I think, predicted, or kind of, me and my friends are predicting that they're gonna do like a Naruto type deal, where they time skip and they do like a Shippuden for like My Hero, where like they come back with like after like a maybe 1-2 year time skip, and then that's where the anime continues.
So
like,
no manga. So no manga. Just jump right to.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't really know. But I mean, manga or anime, whatever. But I mean, because My Hero is popular, right? So they can't just end it right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they can. So that's what me and my friends predicted. It's gonna be like a Shippuden thing.
Yeah, keep in mind that the manga though, like a little bit of manga makes a whole season of anime if done right, So I think that there's probably gonna be a lot of that where it's just where you're gonna be seeing stuff happen on a longer scale. I think My Hero Academia with the Vigilante series and everything else they have going on is perfect. I think they have so much more to do, and there's some up and coming manga which are phenomenal, which I think are so fucking great that I can't wait for them to become anime. Chainsaw Man, obviously everyone talks about that one.
Yeah, that's hyped as hell.
Dan Dan, which is the funniest manga I've ever read in my life. I actually laugh out loud. Yeah, that was so good. There's obviously Kaiju number 8. There's and then there's the manga continuation of a lot of the stories we love now. Black Clover ended, so I had to read the manga. I had no choice to. But there's so many just good stories up and coming, and I can't wait to start to see what the next wave of anime comes out.
I started watching some trailers for some of the newer animes that came out or that are coming, and I think I've only watched like a couple, and they were both fucking romance animes, surprisingly enough. Each wave has their own like romance animes, and the concepts, I swear the concepts are so weird. It's just when you think like Japan couldn't get any weirder, like they think of like because one of them isn't, but like the other one is. Like there's an anime coming called My Ex-Girlfriend is, what is it? Oh my god, I gotta look it up, but it's something like, hold on. There's a
manga, and this is real. There is a manga that is, I shit you not, there's a guy who is a gynecologist for women, right? And he's also a big fan of idols, like pop idols, like celebrities. And a pop idol comes into his gynecologist office that he's the biggest fan of, and she's like, "Hey, I'm pregnant, and I'm gonna be. I need you to deliver this baby like in private. I can't let anyone know." And so he's like, "Absolutely, I'll help you." And so he delivers her baby, and then goes outside and gets killed, and then becomes the baby.
That's not where I thought you'd be going with that. What the fuck?
And it's a set of twins, and there's another person that's the other baby, and they basically are like helping her navigate through idle life as her it's the fucking weirdest thing in the world, dude.
So weird.
Dude, like, I understand anime gets wild, anime gets weird, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's so fucking weird. What the fuck? The one I was thinking, it was the one I was talking about. It's my stepsister is my ex-girlfriend.
Oh, okay. I've been on that category.
So I mean, the whole premise of it is obviously like homie breaks up with his girlfriend, and then I'm assuming either mother or father marries the respective parent for his ex-girlfriend, and they become step siblings. It's so weird. It's not as weird as what you just fucking told me, but like it's how do you think of that? Like what does the boardrooms look like where you think of that?
Where they're authorizing it, like putting their stamp on it, like yep, boom, there it is.
like I don't understand how you do that, but that's funny.
It's wild, man. Well, look, Pix, I could talk anime all night, but we've been here. Like I did warn you on Twitter, this would fly by, and I feel like it has, man. When you're just talking, 2 hours it goes by like it's no one's business. For everyone watching, you guys can catch Pixelated Owl on Twitch. He streams every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at twitch.tv/pixelated_owl. He's also on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, posting as often as possible. Great friend of mine. You're going to be seeing lots more collabs soon. Pix, thank you so much for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I was late. Listen,
don't even be worried about it, dude.
Work killed me, but we got it. We good.
Oh, wait till Wednesday. I'm getting you back. No, I'm kidding.
Listen. I mean, I won't be participating obviously because I made it, but yeah, I can't wait to see who wins, to see which team wins, and see
I can't wait either. Fun. It's going to be a good time. Guys, we'll be talking about that in the Discord, Twitter, social medias. I'm going to be on his game show, an anime-related game show, and of course I'm going to win. That's not even an option. Not even an option. And I think if we could get the contestants, too, to maybe possibly, wager up maybe some gifted subs amongst each other, I think we can even up the ante and make it even...
That'd be cool.
Even more. Yeah, I think we could probably make it even more. So... Thanks, Pix. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate absolutely everybody. And I'll see you guys. I think we're going to be coming back later on tonight, maybe in an hour or so, just to do some stuff as well. I got to talk to Dr. Logical. But take it easy. Peace.
Peace.